Hey guys, today I just really wanted to film a super quick May wrap-up. I actually read 9 books during the month of May. I already talked about 4 of these in my middle grade May wrap-up, which I will link to somewhere, but I wanted to tell you really briefly about the other 5 books I read, just because when you read a lot of books, you gotta tell people what you're reading, you know what I mean? So anyway, the first book I read this month was The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I have been hearing a lot about this book for quite some time because I think it came out in like 2011, 2012. I wasn't sure if I would like it because I've read some of Maggie Stiefvater's other books, but I ended up really enjoying it. It took me quite a while to finish. I read it on my Kindle, but it was just sort of this like slow, like character study story that was sort of mysterious. It unfolds like really nicely, and I've heard that the second book in the series is even better, so I'm really looking forward to reading that. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, but I really enjoyed it, and I really loved just like the characters. Like, those boys, man, they're just so interesting. The next book I read this month was On the Fence by Kasie West. This is a really light, short, young adult contemporary summer romance read, and I actually really liked it. I read her other book, Going the Distance, or The Distance Between Us. One of those. I read that like in April or something, but I liked this one better. It's about a girl who grows up without a mom, so she's got her dad and she's got a bunch of brothers, and so I really liked that family dynamic. And then she sort of falls in love with the quote-unquote boy next door who has been sort of like a brother to her. Anyways, not a ton of depth to this story, but it was really fun. I thought that the brothers and all of the characters were really realistic. Sometimes I think that characters in YA romances are really annoying, especially sometimes the side characters are just not very well written, but it was really fun. If you really want to pick up something light and summery, I would definitely recommend it. The next thing I have to show you is a book of poetry called The Madness Vase by Andrea Gibson. I have heard of Andrea Gibson because of the spoken word performances that she does, and I'm going to link to one or more of those in the description. If you just Google or YouTube search Andrea Gibson, you can find almost all of her poetry performed by her, which I think is really great. I don't read a lot of poetry, so I have like very little to compare this to. I never studied poetry. I'm not sure how to like be really critical about poetry, but I really love this collection of poems. I feel like the way that Andrea writes is super honest, and the way that she describes things is, see, I keep wanting to use the word poetic, but like, duh, it's poetry. If you're interested in poetry, I would encourage you to check this out. If you have any poetry recommendations for me, I would really love that, because I honestly have no idea where to go from here with poetry, contemporary poetry, so please let me know if you have any recommendations for me. The next book I read this month is called The Martian by Weir. I believe many people have heard of this. It's been getting quite a lot of hype for quite some time. I talked about this in my haul, so I literally just talked about this, but The Martian is about a man who is with a crew going to Mars. He is somehow accidentally left stranded there, and he has to survive for quite some time on Mars by himself. This book has a lot of really technical science and engineering jargon, but I honestly thought that that was really cool, and apparently a lot of it is really accurate. I have no idea because I am not an engineer, nor a scientist, nor a mathematician, but it didn't really bog it down. I was sort of concerned that some of the technical stuff would just sort of make it hard to get through, but the narrator's voice is really good and really funny, and this was just a really thrilling adventure to read. I would highly recommend that you read this. The last book I read this month was also on my Kindle. It's a book called Boomerang by Noelle. It's sort of like a new adult contemporary romance book. I thought it sounded really cute, and it started out really promising. It's about a girl and a guy who wake up after a one-night stand. They don't remember anything, and then they go into work and find that they are competing for the same job in this internship position. So I thought that sounded kind of cute, right? It was cute. I can't say I recommend it as much as On the Fence if you're looking for a sort of romance read, but it was pretty light and fun if you're into that. The first like third of it is available for free on Kindle if you really want to check it out. That is something you can do. As for June, I have a ton of like buddy read books planned out. I joined a book club. I'm not going to share with you my whole TBR because I'm really afraid that I won't be able to read as much as I think I am, but I have big goals. So please leave a comment telling me something that you read this month that you really liked or something you're planning to read in June, and I would love to talk with you about that, and I will see you guys later with something else. Bye.